Hey everyone, either welcome back or welcome to my channel. And in today's video, I want to talk about the difference between fatigue and just being tired. So before I get too far into the video, time for the intro. Back in 2018, I was diagnosed with IIH. IIH is short for idiopathic intracranial hypertension. In short, in IIH, there's an increased intracranial pressure without a known cause. IIH is known by two older names, pseudotumor cerebri, and benign intracranial hypertension. Living with IIH is very hard to explain to others, as it can be hard to tell when I'm not feeling well. My hope is that through these videos we can learn together and help make relationships better through a better understanding. I also hope to provide people living with IIH a community so they never feel like they are alone with this condition. Don't forget to subscribe and click that notification bell down below so that you get updated about further videos. I upload new content every Monday and Thursday afternoon. Fatigue is one of those things that is very common between a lot of different conditions. It's something that I think all of us have to a certain level. It's something that I'm actually experiencing right now. So I'm filming this on Saturday, and yesterday I did something called overdoing it or doing too much. That means that today I'm extra tired. I am also experiencing allergies, so that isn't fun, but it's very common for me at this time of year. I want to really emphasize in this video the difference between fatigue and being tired, because a lot of times what you'll hear from people who really don't understand fatigue is, oh, I get tired too, or I'm always tired also. And fatigue is way different than being tired. So an example I'll give you for this is I have to rest every single time after having a shower or a bath. So I have to actually plan extra time after I have a shower or a bath to do anything else. And this is really, really irritating. I actually also rest before I have a shower or a bath, which is quite annoying, especially after you've just done a workout. You really just want to have a shower and get it over with. But unfortunately, if I don't give myself enough time in between doing a workout and having a shower, I hit my fatigue wall that much quicker. And I call it a fatigue wall because when I start experiencing fatigue, it's like you hit a wall. It's like all of a sudden you go like, so let's say that my hand is the wall, right? And it's almost like you drive into that wall and you hit it and you bounce back and you go, what was that? But instead of it being a physical object, it almost feels like an aerial barrier. You just feel like you get this overwhelming rush of fatigue. It's really, really hard to describe unless you've actually experienced it before. This is generally what happens when we run out of spoons for the day. I've talked about the spoon theory as a way to plan out your day. And I like to use the low battery analogy type example too, because it's also similar to when your battery hits about 10%. So 20% you might get a warning, 10% you hit that wall. And if you really aren't careful, you could completely run out of energy. And if you aren't careful too, between the amount of spoons that you're using in a day and your low battery and ignoring that, you can suffer for a few days after doing too much at once, which is what happened to me. Fatigue is very different from being tired, either going about your daily routine or from not getting enough sleep. It's like you haven't gotten enough sleep for weeks at a time. And if you do the wrong thing, you fatigue that much quicker. So it's almost like you aren't able to get your battery back up. For the battery analogy, if we're looking at the spoons example, it's almost like they're taking away spoons at the start of your day when you're really, really fatigued. So you have a lot less to work with, but you still have to do the same amount of work in the day. Another comparison of being tired versus fatigue. At the end of the week as a student, I was tired, so I would give myself extra time off on the weekend. For most of the start of the week, I would be feeling good and start to get tired again by the end of the week. But when I first started experiencing fatigue in my final semester, no matter how much rest I gave myself, I would be as exhausted at the start of the week as I was at the end of the week. No amount of rest or taking breaks helped. I've done separate videos on fatigue in the past, talking about the symptom itself, talking about how IIH affects energy levels. I've talked about different examples that you can use. So I feel like I've talked enough about the actual symptom itself, but I feel like I haven't compared it well enough to everyday examples that maybe people who don't have a chronic illness can relate to, so that they understand that there is a difference between being tired and being fatigued. I sometimes think it's one of the most inconvenient because you can be having the best day ever with symptoms, and then all of a sudden you get hit by a wave of fatigue, and your plans for the rest of the day are canceled because you don't have the energy to do it. I get this a lot myself, where people will tell me, "Oh, I feel tired all the time too." I get so frustrated when people try and compare having fatigue from a chronic illness to what people experience in their everyday life constantly. And it's because it's a completely different thing, and fatigue is definitely not the same as just being tired. If you guys have any questions or comments, feel free to leave them down below. And as for now, that's it for today. Bye, everyone.